full force. Are you kidding me?
Yo, what's up? It's Mr. Young.
And it's Ford in the building.
How's it going, bro?
Wait, bro, do you notice anything different today?
You can't stop talking about it. I know you got a new ring light. Finally, looking very handsome. Yes, everybody please take 2 seconds to admire Foreign's beautiful face.
Oh, thanks. Am I the hair? Now I have a clearer look of my, my reading books.
Sure.
Wrestling books. Oh man, I mean it's great, man. It's an investment, like you said. You always been telling me, you have to level up, man. You have to be like, you have to get a beauty ring light. And I always laugh at you. And then now I understand why.
Yes, now you know why. Welcome to the cult of vanity. Anyway, we are here not to talk about vanity. We are here to talk about wrestling. And man, bro, there's so much to talk about these couple of days because it seems like not only you have leveled up, the WWE have leveled up. Right?
I don't know whether our listeners agree as well. Maybe ever since Raw Underground debuted, I feel like every single show in WWE has stepped up. Could it be because it's SummerSlam coming up? I don't know.
Maybe they are ramping up. Previously, like we talked about, they were in a holding pattern for a very, very long time.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe there are several factors, like the whole COVID situation. They just want to hold first, but now they're like, you know what, screw it, let's just go full ball ahead. They've heard the comments, they know people are saying, and maybe Triple H is in Vince's ear, and finally Vince is like, okay, fine, let's be a little bit more edgy, because now they're obviously going back to the old attitude, anything can happen, chaos type deal.
Yeah. And it's really cool because I've heard some rumors and reports that it was the plan all along to introduce this renegade faction and to fuck shit up lah. Basically Retribution lah, what we got out of Retribution. But they kept holding it off because of COVID. But I guess they've finally pulled the trigger and you are definitely going to be talking about Retribution coming up in the episode. We've got a lot to dive into there. But I do believe that right now, every single segment on Raw especially feels very important, feels there is some sort of purpose driving it through.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Remember when we were complaining about how a 3-hour Raw was just way too much? And a lot of it was just the same old thing. Tag teams now is one-on-one. It just got so predictable. But now they're like, okay, I think also deep down they realize things have been too static. Things have been boring. And they just risk losing their fans, right? So they're screw it, just pull the trigger and let's go.
They can't be in denial forever, man. I mean, I'm sure somebody in management or somebody there realizes how much things have been sucking.
Yeah, right.
They can't be so far up their ass to not realize,
we can go through it bit by bit, but there's just so much. And it's so funny how 1.5 weeks, literally everything has just changed, right?
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And if I'm not wrong, bro, today is technically the 30th episode of season 3. Oh. So, right, episode 30 right now.
Of this show?
Yeah, this show is episode 30.
Yeah,
Kick to the Gut. Whoa. So, usually, for those who have been listening to us for a long time, episode 30 is usually our season finale. We always wrap it up at 30 episodes, right?
Because we lazy.
Because it's very tiring to talk about wrestling every single week, especially when it sucks, right?
Yeah.
No, but for this particular season, episode 30 means on the milestone of the overall Kick to the Gut, universe. This is considered our 90th episode.
Wow, 90. Bro. Hey, we are going to 100 this time around.
Yeah, man. So therefore, 10 more episodes to 100, right? So season 3 is still going to continue until episode 100. And that's when we're going to do our season finale.
What are we going to do for Kick to the Gut 100? Raw got 100, Raw 100. Now we got Kick to the Gut 100. We got every single guest to come on that we've had.
Actually, I was thinking something along those lines. We don't have the magical logistical power to pull everyone to our house and to do interview everyone. But I was thinking, why not for our 100th episode? Let's do a countdown, bro.
A countdown?
Let's do a top 10 ranking or something along those lines of our favorite top 10 Kick to the Gut moments or Kick to the Gut episodes. What do you think, bro? Let the fans vote on that.
Fans vote, okay.
Yeah.
Please, I think that's a great idea. I would suggest that Mr. Young shitting on the Young Bucks will be quite high up in the top 10. Because it's going to be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be that. And you know what? For nostalgia's sake,
Yeah.
and this might be a lot of work on our side, but
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I'm willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
How about we pull out like certain quotes or certain like moments from those episodes or those particular like highlights,
Walao.
and we really like replay
Yeah.
it. I think it will be worth it, bro.
For sure.
Oh my god, there's someone's gonna probably
Bro,
say like, oh, one
that's
of them
like-
is fun. Forever say for sure.
How many hours worth of content to go through, bro? Are you sure you are down with that? It's
That's
a
why,
long process, bro.
bro. That's why I tell you 10 episodes early, bro.
So that we can start early, is it?
Yeah. We can start at least compiling like our favorite moments and start asking everyone.
Oh my gosh,
It
yeah.
will be a great milestone, man, because coming up in October, it's 2 years since we started the podcast, bro.
Oh my god, 2 years.
Yeah.
And we've been to house shows like when WWE came to Singapore. Bro, when is that overseas trip?
Yeah, man.
Well, not anytime this this year or 6 months anyway.
Basically 2020 like fucked up a lot of our plans.
Even 2021 can already. 2022, bro, let's start saving up money.
Bro, WrestleMania, we're still gonna do a Kick to the Gut episode live from WrestleMania.
Yeah,
from
we could.
WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, maybe we might be 60 years old already, but we'll still be there. We're like, hey, oh my God, it's Randy Orton, Hall of Fame. Can you
Bro,
imagine?
don't make it until that long, okay? Please.
Okay, we
You're
tried.
still
we
young
tried.
guy. I'm still a young guy. You are
Yeah.
relatively young for your age, guy.
Thanks, bro. Relatively young for my age. Nice save. Anyway, let's talk about Raw. Okay, let's jump into it. So many things are happening. First of all, we have. I found it very interesting too that Zelina Vega supposedly poisoned Montez Ford, and Bianca Belair is in on it, right? Did you hear about Bianca Belair attacking Zelina Vega during Zelina Vega's Twitch stream?
I did. I saw the footage.
Wow, that was quite cool. They're doing stuff outside of, Raw.
The only shame is
Yeah.
they didn't do a replay on Raw. They should have made it as like a episode highlight or replay from the show.
Did they even mention it? I feel like, yeah, there you go. They even filmed their own content. They're trying hard. They want to make this shit work.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing about the social media era. WWE have a lot of ways to play around this.
Yeah.
They can do like you said, like wasn't the plan for the 24/7 title was so that it can be defended, over social media or random shows. So I really like the idea of the Twitch stream. But here's my only problem.
What's that?
How the hell did Bianca Belair manage to let herself into Zelina Vega's house?
Breaking and entering. Stone Cold Steve Austin style, bro.
That is such a stereotype on a black girl to be able to find her house and go into. Okay, but I don't know. It's funny lah.
Maybe that's why. But I mean, come on lah. This is pro wrestling. We sort of understand. Okay, this is a bit of shenanigans.
You have to throw logic out of the window for a while.
See, that is like the issue though. I feel like sometimes the logic is so far off, it's like you can't avoid it. But then you realize, okay, but this is pro wrestling. You got to give it a shot. But then sometimes it's completely illogical. It's like, I don't know. We always have to find that balance of this makes sense, or this doesn't make sense, but I can accept it, or this is completely ridiculous.
Okay, but one thing I have to give props to the WWE for, usually there's only like one angle happening at one time, like a whodunit angle happens. Probably like remember last year's who ran over Roman Reigns.
Correct.
That was like the story that it lasted like a couple of months.
And
but
it was
right now,
shit, by the way. Who did it? Was it Rowan at the end?
It was Raw in the end. It's just like a terrible payoff in my opinion. But this time around, we have like 3 whodunit angles happening simultaneously, bro. If you realize?
Yeah, because like we said, I think a button was pushed. Someone had the realization that the product was hard to watch. It was boring, And yeah, exactly like you said, like they have several whodunits, what is going on. Like, okay, there's that women's feud. Then you take it to another level. Nia Jax has been suspended. She wasn't on this Raw, right?
Yes, correct. She was suspended.
You have your main title feud between Asuka and the Golden Role Models, which is exciting stuff as well.
Yeah, and they had a killer match this past week's Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was talking about 3 whodunit angles, what I meant was, other than like who poisoned Montez Ford, what the hell is, or who the hell is Retribution? And what do they want?
Yeah.
And of course, like what's happening with like Raw Underground, the mystery of that.
Okay, let's talk about Raw Underground. Like the first episode, yes, it was fresh, it was new. People are like, what the hell is this, right? What did you think of episode 2?
Okay, So I got a couple of thoughts on that.
Mm.
One, okay, let's talk about the positives first.
Yeah.
I really like that they introduced Shayna Baszler into Raw Underground.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because do you remember there was this tweet that CM Punk put out last week, and I think I told you on the show.
Yeah.
CM Punk said, "Hey, let's get some women in the segment."
Yep.
And who's the perfect person to introduce into Raw Underground? Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
She looked like a badass.
She beat up 3 people.
Yeah, three girls. My only thing is, who else can stand up to her? Like in terms of a female talent, who else can stand up with her? Unless you're talking about Shayna Baszler versus Sonya Deville down the road.
Maybe, but I mean,
be pretty dope.
Yeah. So once they establish Raw Underground, maybe. But I feel like I want Shayna Baszler to beat up dudes. I think that would be so badass because she legit could. That's the thing, right?
She could. I mean, I can imagine her beating up Drake Maverick.
Yeah.
Or like R-Truth somehow.
Exactly. It doesn't even have to be someone, quote unquote, smaller than her. Someone who's not accustomed to the, underground style because she's a cage fighter, so she would know the skills, right? So correct. I can see that happening. Like, can you imagine Dolph Ziggler versus Shayna Baszler, for example?
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Dope. Yeah. I can imagine.
Of course, don't put that. Okay, they're obviously trying to push this Baba. What was his name? Baba.
Deba Keto.
Papa Shango.
Papa Shango. Rey Mysterio.
Okay, I need to hear his.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I need to hear his name a few more times to really catch it. But they've been pushing him a lot. But to be honest, he just looks like a really big. You know what he looks like? He looks like the villain in any kung fu movie or like a fighting movie.
Yeah.
But he isn't the big bad boss. He's like one of the henchmen who's the huge guy.
Yeah. He's like, we always say, he's always the underboss or the sub-boss before the main boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't see a lot of potential.
Got it. Yeah.
And let's not forget, there is no glitz and glamour about this presentation. It's all, it's raw and it's underground, right? It's very gritty. So like nothing really jumps out other than the fact that he's huge. And I'll be honest, and I've said this before, this whole work shoot deal, he doesn't look devastating to me because they're obviously trying to protect each other.
Yeah.
It's funny too because Ken Shamrock jumped in on the whole conversation, right? You posted it on our Kick to the Gut. What did he say?
No, he was saying that he called out Vince and Shane like, hey, if you guys want to make like a work shoot look real, you got my number.
Yeah.
You know who to call.
Exactly. And he did it with Owen Hart in the, Hart Dungeon, right?
Match.
That looked legit.
Didn't he have that Lions Den match as well?
Lions Den match as well, yes.
Also a SummerSlam memory as well from 98. Yeah, you're right. So, let's talk about some of the positives that I really, really like. I like that they're introducing some of the lower card guys and presenting them as like legitimate or like at least dangerous.
Riddick Moss.
Yeah.
All of a sudden shows up, right?
But Riddick Moss looks like he looks chiseled, great body and all that. Yeah. But he was treated as a joke initially. Mm-hmm. Wasn't he like with Mojo Rawley lah? Then after that, kena 24/7 title, then got. Yeah. But in this particular presentation of him, I think he fought against a guy that really, really looked like Dolph Ziggler at first.
Yeah. Some other guy.
Some other dude, Kyle Bloom or something like that. Yeah, but he looked like a legitimate, like he can be like those like, brawler or like, mixed martial arts fighter in this kind of setup. Sure. Another guy that, to me, right, I was laughing at his vignette when he was first introduced. Do you remember this guy? This Antonio Ruas, yeah.
I have no idea who that is.
He was the guy that was like the ball guy and he was doing like a lot of capoeira moves at Raw Underground. Do you remember?
Okay. Oh, he was in NXT, is it?
Yes, he was in NXT.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
he kind of never went anywhere.
He didn't like do a lot of matches or he didn't even make like a splash in NXT. But the funny thing that I remember from him was his promos and his vignette. Do you remember this? Karate, black belt.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu, black belt. Taekwondo, black belt. Like, what the fuck? How many black belts you got? Don't any bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember him from that. So, obviously, because of his martial arts background, this presentation works for him. Yeah,
It
so
fits.
I was very impressed. Okay, so now, any other positives you want to talk about before we dive into the negatives?
I mean, like we've been talking about, like it gives the undercard a little bit more of a chance to shine, but how much shining are they doing? Because at the end of the day, your Shayna Baszlers, your Bobby Lashley are still going to take the limelight in there, because they're going to be presented as such. Like, Papa Shango, Baba Jongo, whatever his name is.
Django Fett.
Yeah. See, I can't even remember his name. I just know, okay, he's just this big looking guy. So at some point you need to, I feel like, even gritty ear it up, if that even makes sense.
No, I completely understand, man. Completely understand. What's lacking right now, bro?
What's that?
They have really caught our attention. They've really given us intrigue.
Yeah.
But right now, they better start answering some questions before we start pointing like a lot of logical flaws or holes in the presentation.
Yeah.
Okay,
like, what's the point of them
what's
fighting?
What's the point? That's one thing. Secondly, what's the continuation between last week's Hurt Business situation?
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. So they did not feature on Raw Underground at all.
Yeah. Didn't they take over the Raw Underground?
For 1 week. For 1 week only. Then next week they were busy. Back to Apollo Crews. I was like...
It wasn't explained, right? It wasn't explained. So
I actually thought the Apollo Crews thing was done.
Yeah. Because they I thought the next continuation of the storyline is them taking over the Raw Underground, right?
But not at all, apparently.
Yeah, but then as we came back to this week, it was still Shane McMahon presenting, and it was like nothing ever happened last week.
Yeah.
So it felt like a new refresh, which I think makes it, it kind of gets the shine off the presentation.
Yeah. It felt like a step back, to be honest. Like, it looked very, especially with MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley, the three of them standing there in the suits. They look very cool doing it.
Yep.
Shane looks like a spoiled brat with a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, and he plays that role very well.
He looks like the spoiled brat promoter who, hey.
Like, look at what I'm doing. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
So I don't feel like a sense of like, oh, this is really legit and dangerous. But with the Hurt Business, I felt that, like you said, like this is straight up Def Jam, the game.
Yeah. Okay, one thing that I have to commend them, they got rid of the girls.
the random strippers.
The random. Okay, I know, like, they're trying to play the GTA vibe and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man, like that kind of took away from the presentation to me. Like it was like a shock factor initially, but then when I think about it, you don't need those girls, honestly. Like, just focus on the action. Less camera cuts and camera angles, like a million camera cuts.
Yeah. But you see,
please,
you know why the camera cuts are there, right?
To protect the blows,
to kayfabe this thing, because they are not actually hitting each other. That's why they cut. Which makes it a little bit hokey, which is the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See,
but
I actually like the girls there. It gives it that edge. It gives it that Def Jam vibe. Like, okay, maybe not strippers dancing. How about have a ring? Like, in the UFC, they have the ring cut girls.
Ring cut, yeah.
The round girls, Just have one in a nice tank top, whether holding up a sign or just saying go.
Yeah, I guess for us guys, that we will never say no to having some eye candy in the presentation.
But it's not even that. Fair. I feel like that gives it more of a vibe. Like, okay, for example, street racing, when you watch the Fast and Furious,
all those import girls, right?
Yeah, the one who flags it off is always a woman, right? Usually. So I don't know.
Imagine if it's Sunny Kiss doing it. Will you still watch it?
Why not? No. It gives it that certain like edginess.
Yeah, I get it.
I feel like they cleaned it up for the second episode.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe like the parents were like, "Hey, why my kids want to watch PG?" But one thing I realized, because I find this episode I watched it all the way through. I didn't watch highlights. They really adhere to like starting the segments after 10 p.m.
Right.
Or like the US after 10 p.m. But the problem is, I thought it was gonna last throughout the hour. But those segments were like 2 or 3 was done within like 10 minutes.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
It was too brief. And you're right. The last question that most probably people will be starting to ask is like, what's the point of this?
Yep.
You fight, you win, then what?
Yeah, like bragging rights, or you can't make it in the main roster, so you come down here and fight because you're bored.
Yeah.
They need to start telling that story of they are fighting because they have an itch to scratch. It's like Fight Club lah.
Yeah. Even if like there is no maybe like point to be just to fight for the sake of fighting, they need to start weaving storylines into it.
Yep.
Like for example, I really like the Hurt Business storyline. They shouldn't have dropped it. Like Hurt Business wants to make this their operation. This is where they run Raw from.
I'm very afraid it becomes a case of, okay, this is my segment, like Raw Underground is just one segment. And every week we have one main roster person show up, like Bobby Lashley the first week. Or
Just
Herb
for the
Business
sake
first
of
week.
it, lah.
Yeah, just to give a name. And I think that would make it really lame.
Yeah.
Like
It
Shayna
needs-
Baszler last week. It needs some sort of continuity, a storyline. Like, give
Yeah,
me
this
a reason to give a shit about Papa Shango or
Double Kato.
Daba Keto. Okay, Daba Keto. Give me a reason to care about the fact that he's going to be destroying somebody. Have him destroy somebody I know.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I believe that if they manage to incorporate in such a way that it shouldn't even be like this is like a level under the Raw main show. Like, you have to prove yourself in Raw Underground, then you can go on the main roster. No. It should be like a show within a show.
Correct.
You know, like
its own thing.
Yeah. It's like it's insular, but
Mhm.
then like anytime, you know, like storylines from the main roster can suddenly bleed into you know, the Raw Underground. And you know, I was thinking of all the possibilities, bro.
Yeah.
You know how many like awesome matchups that you can have? Think about it, bro. Matt Riddle can finally have his match with Goldberg.
Oh, no. The less we see of Goldberg, the better, bro. Matt Riddle and anybody else. Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher. I'd rather see that. Even though the main roster, I mean, most people don't know who Timothy Thatcher is.
It's crazy. It's crazy, like, you know, to know that, you know, Goldberg has kind of like turned people off so much.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad given that, you know, when he was returned, he was, you know, warmly received.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is like, I you know how some wrestlers or you when you look at them, you know, okay, their specialty match will probably be like a casket match.
Yep.
Their specialty match will be like a ladder match. You know
Bro, there's only one casket match, fella, and that is The Undertaker.
Yeah, I know. But Raw Underground, I feel like a lot of people can be associated with this setting.
The quote unquote more street fighter looking fellas, more
Street
MMA
brawlers.
based.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of it. So I feel like it's almost as if, as we were talking about MMA's influence on WWE from last week, right?
Yeah.
MMA's undeniable influence, you know, in the mainstream has some sort made this into a viable thing. Like, can you imagine, like, maybe like 10 years ago, like 20 years ago, like, would Vince McMahon even entertain, okay, I will just do one particular segment purely dedicated to like street brawl? I don't think he will accept it, you know?
Well, I mean, they've done like the hardcore title, so that was its division on its own. But you know, that one was equal parts brutal and equal parts joke, lah.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, going forward, I got one last thing that I'm curious about. I want to know how are they going to incorporate Raw Underground into SummerSlam?
Yeah, or maybe they shouldn't, because it's Raw Underground. It should be a thing on
that
Raw.
Happens only on Raw.
Yeah, and somehow from there they build stars or build mid-carders. Finally, you know, these guys debut on Raw, whatever.
I like that. Like, you know, if you make it in Raw Underground and then suddenly like you graduate to the main show, it comes with some sort of clout. You know, like as opposed to one guy randomly debuting on Raw and then people like, who is this guy? Then he has to like squash matches lah, all these matches just to build him up.
Correct.
Now we see it happening in Raw Underground. So by the time he maybe like Daba Keto faces a Drew McIntyre, you will feel like, I want to see what's going to happen.
Exactly, right? So I feel like this whole thing is built to promote Daba.
Jabba the Hutt.
Keto. Or, you know, I
Keto
feel
diet,
like
Keto diet.
So far the only one that has stood out is, well, other than the main roster people, is him.
I did like Arturo Ruas.
I blinked and I missed him.
He because I've never seen a capoeira kind of guy or capoeira style in WWE. That was pretty cool. Dolph Ziggler was impressive last week. And what obviously Iva was pretty. It was just brief. No, there have been a couple of like wrestlers that was highlighted in a very interesting way because of Raw Underground. So I believe there are more positives than negatives. But I do feel like it took a little step back this week. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like, it's only 2 episodes in. So, speaking of wait and see, okay, Retribution then. That is the other big thing. And here's the thing. They are not just attacking Raw. They're attacking SmackDown. In fact, I feel like their SmackDown assault was a lot more brutal in that they took a chainsaw to the ropes. They spray paint. They beat people up. This week on Raw seems a bit tame. They just broke some glass. That's about it.
The best analogy I got from some of the like podcasters and like WWE wrestling YouTubers that was listening to their reactions to this, like Good Mike World, for example, was saying that they are not dangerous like how those like dangerous kind of factions are. They are more mischievous.
Yes, that's exactly it. Like, remember when the Outsiders showed up in WCW, NWO, right? They felt dangerous. They took Rey Mysterio and Lon darted him into the production truck. They like hurt people really bad with weapons.
Yep.
Whereas you're right, these guys, they are just causing mayhem and mischief, but and the way they sound also, to me, plays an important role. It's not like there's a figurehead who's like
do it,
cripple him, or like, you know what I mean? It's all masked men, and then they're screaming, and some of them have like this high-pitched voice.
Like very minion like that, right?
Yeah, like, okay, so is it just Akira Tozawa's ninjas? They just changed the mask or something? You know what I mean? So I'm liking what they're doing, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I hope to see some sort of a figurehead soon, because without that figurehead, I don't know if this is like a mid-card stable.
Which gimmick like turned you off initially? Retribution or Dark Order?
Turn off. Wow, that's a tough one, man. Because I didn't hate the Dark Order to begin with. I was intrigued. They had my interest. Like, what's this cult type thing? But then as the days went along, you realize, Evil Uno can't promo. They aren't the best in the ring. And then it dragged on very long. And then when they finally revealed the chosen, not the chosen one. Is it the chosen one? Jobber Lee.
No,
anyway.
Not higher power.
I don't even remember anymore, right? It was a complete wet fart.
Exalted one.
Exalted, yeah, there we go. You see, this is how much I care about Brody Lee right now. I never hated it. I just thought that it was a wasted opportunity. With Retribution, because it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, still too early.
I'm willing to give them a bit more, but within like the next couple of weeks, if we don't see some sort of a figurehead show up and explain why they're doing these mischievous things, I think that's going to be a problem.
Okay, there's a couple of conspiracy theories right now. And two of them that I'm really gravitating towards. If that happens, it will make the whole thing pretty damn awesome, lah. Okay. One, if it's somehow connected to the hacker storyline.
Oh yeah. Which has disappeared, by the way. Yeah,
it has disappeared. And I really, really still want it to be Mustafa Ali. I don't know why. I just feel that it just fits. But anyway, if that's not Mustafa Ali, I just hope like the hacker has been orchestrating all of this. And somehow that is like the guy who's like the figurehead and it reveals to be somebody awesome. That would be the best.
But how would that be a face faction then?
I don't think should be a face. They should be a heel faction.
Heel faction, okay.
Going forward, the problem is, right, I think that kind of like turned me off slightly is the fact that you're right. First of all, they don't look menacing. They are more mischievous. Like their voice give them away.
Yeah, like a bunch of young punks. They don't sound like a bunch of thugs.
Yeah. They sound like, okay, what did they do this week? They just threw a brick through a door.
Yeah.
And they overturned the car, which we didn't even see whether the car was overturned. And they were just kicking the car.
Yeah, and then they're ha. Like, they sound like a bunch of mischievous kids. And like, the faction has a woman in there as well. So
yeah, there's female voices and all that.
Yeah, but they don't sound menacing. They don't sound dangerous. So
they sound like the kids of like the WWE employers who are sick of staying at home. They go destroy their parents' place.
You know who was a more menacing group? Sanity.
Yeah, bro. Sanity in NXT was awesome,
right? They looked the part. They felt dangerous, And then this group, I don't know. But then again, maybe the whole point is not to make NWO a gangster group. Maybe it is a mischievous group. And moving forward, they will just do mischievous things.
I like the timing of it happening 10 years after Nexus. But obviously people still have better memories of Nexus I maybe because we know who they were. I think this whole storyline will live and die by who they are when they are revealed eventually.
Yeah, I was trying very hard to listen to the voices because I've heard a couple of names being thrown around, like Ciampa hasn't been around lately.
Oh, that would be so dope.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be so dope?
Dominik Dijakovic as well. I think they deleted all their tweets or some social media. So something is up lah.
You know what would be so funny, bro?
What?
Like now they are all so small, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time they reveal, all fucking jack.
So yeah, the guys who are doing the mischievous stuff now is actually not them. They just got a bunch of jobbers. But when they finally reveal, it's Ciampa.
And then like the girl female voices, right?
Yeah.
Look like, you know, very very sweet, very happy.
Yeah.
And open up, it's fucking Tamina.
It's like, hey, wait a minute. Oh, what a swerve, right? Yeah. Like, but here's the thing, like, to me, Ciampa in NXT was already menacing when he was the straight up heel, doing shit, dastardly shit to Johnny Gargano.
Bro.
Like, if he just walked in leading this bunch of masked men, that would be scary to me. But
no, I think so too. I think that would be pretty awesome.
I actually kind of hope it's not Tommaso Ciampa. Because like right now, the current presentation is like, okay, so
okay, maybe it's too early, bro. But
it is.
Think about it, bro. Now do you say it, bro? If Ciampa debuts on the main roster as the hacker, oh, that's so dope, man. Like, you know, because he took like a pretty devastating loss to, you know, Gargano.
Yep.
Lost that rivalry, and they have nothing for him in NXT. Like, I feel that his story is done in NXT. You know, he didn't win Goldie. That could drive a man insane. That could drive a man into doing all this kind of bullshit.
Correct.
I think there's a great story there.
Yeah. There are definitely stories to be told. I just hope it's not a bunch of newbies and then they try to weave some sort of storyline. That would be, to me, that would be the worst case scenario. If it's a bunch of like call-ups that nobody have heard of before. Yeah. And it's
that's
like,
quite sad.
Or another worst case scenario, they actually have no idea who these fellas are supposed to be.
Oh, that's the worst, man.
Because you know they've done this shit before. You know they've done this shit before, right?
Yeah, shit, man. No. They better come out with some sort of plan.
It's like, okay, let's just cause chaos now and we can buy time, right? 2-3 weeks, we don't reveal who they are. And then we'll figure it out. And then 2-3 weeks go by, they still don't know who it is.
You know that is exactly what happened last year, right? With the Roman Reigns whodunit angle.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know who it was going to be. So finally, okay, Eric Rowan. And then he went bye-bye.
It's so sad.
Well, I guess let's give them credit. At least they're giving us something to look forward to.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, we can talk about other things on Raw as well. I really want to talk about like what happened in the main event. I don't know where you want to start right there.
Well, let's do it because everything else was all right, you know. But I think the main talking point is what Randy Orton did to the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. I mean, okay, they dimmed the lights lah. I mean, for Nature Boy's sake. He's how old already?
71.
Yeah, he shouldn't be taking a punt kick to the head. Anything could happen. Yeah. I will not fault them for that because obviously I want him to be safe.
I think it's smart. I mean, they played off the whole Retribution causing chaos. So I think that's okay.
Lights going out, yeah.
But here's the thing that was funny to me. Like, when the Kevin Owens and Randy Orton match finished, right? There was still like 15 minutes left before the end of the show. Yeah. So I was curious, like, okay, this is the main event, right? So what's going to happen after that? So I wasn't expecting like a Randy and Ric Flair promo. It wasn't what I thought it was going to go towards. But then when it happened, man, bro, like, some of the things that were said in this promo, like, what's your reactions to the promo, man? I feel like I mean, we've talked about this, Randy and especially Edge, they've been on fire with their promos lately because it all hits home, you know, and for us as diehard wrestling fans who've seen these characters and who know the quote unquote backstage stories, right? Yeah. To hear them talk about it like that, and okay, if you notice too, it's not done in a way where it's super mark-ish. Like, you know how they do in AEW sometimes? If you are casual, you probably won't catch it. For me, I feel like they did it in a way where they could have explained it to those who might not even understand it. And it was done very well. And yeah, man, they hit home runs all the way through. I mean, you're talking about the two of the best promos. And when Nature Boy started, like, you know, talking about how he just wants to be in the limelight with Randy, he wants to be there. And then he sounds like an old man. And he's like on the verge of tears. He sounds like an old man. He doesn't sound like Ric Flair. He sounds like an old man. How good is his acting though? Oh, I mean, there's a lot of truth to what was being said. I think sure you as a human, even if you're acting it out, you probably will feel it. Right. Yeah. But not everyone can pull it off, and he definitely did. And when Randy did what he did, it was like, you know, it's scripted. You know, it's like, you know, this is the storyline. But inside, you're like, oh, that son of a bitch, bro. This is, to me, this is why we watch wrestling, bro. This is the kind of you know, when wrestling is good, it can be so good, you know. Okay, first of all, when Randy was being paired up with Ric Flair after like the last couple of weeks and months, I was very confused. I was thinking to myself like, why is like Randy Orton and Ric Flair being paired up together? Like Ric Flair doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
old man should be staying at home.
They just signed a contract, so they need to put him on TV.
The only thing that would have been a great payoff of obviously Ric Flair being there is if Ric Flair is being taken out by Randy Orton, which I'm glad that happened, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it gives Drew McIntyre more of a shine, the good guy, the hero, taking revenge for the fallen, mentor.
Yeah. His reaction was amazing. Like, he was saying, even him, even him, you're gonna willing to do that, Randy, like you son of a bitch. But one thing that I wasn't expecting, and this was the thing that caught me off guard, when they tied it to the fact that what happened last week, and even when Ric Flair had the interaction with Kevin Owens, to me it was a very throwaway. Like I felt like, okay, just Ric Flair being Ric Flair, antagonized Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens asked Randy Orton for a match. But I like how even as a heel, Randy Orton was pissed off because why you put me in this position,
Right. Yeah.
So it was unexpected, but it was like, that makes so much sense. Like if I was the guy and like this mentor of mine, just because he's so cocky and confident, he starts to like pick fights with random people, and I have to clean up the mess. I would be pissed off as well.
Correct.
So there is some logic to why he was attacking back Ric Flair.
Bro, do you realize like 3 weeks ago we were complaining about how WWE not following any logic. None of it makes sense. It's all the shit. And then 3 weeks later, it's like somebody woke up their idea and finally putting things together. What has changed?
Doesn't it frustrate you knowing that they're capable of this? Why can't you just do it all the time?
Is it because the wrestlers finally have more of a say? Is Bruce Pritchard really just putting down freaking, stacks of notes and going, okay, let's follow this storyline thread through, or like what's going on?
Okay, it has to be because of like, the ratings and, how historically bad the viewership. It has to be that. That's the only way they will wake up the idea. But when Randy Orton started attacking Ric Flair's son and saying like he wished that I was
son.
the son that you never had. Those were things that I don't know, man. Like if you're it's not about whether if you're Ric Flair, but if you're a dad and what happened to your son happened, and then will you be okay with putting in a storyline? Like, if me personally, I wouldn't be okay.
No, right? Okay, just to make it clear, Ric Flair's son passed away, right?
Ric Flair, yeah.
Ric Flair, right? Yeah. So that was that reference. So those who know.
Yeah. He died of a drug overdose, but his death, he was the one that really, really wanted to be a wrestler, was training to be a wrestler in the Ric Flair family.
Yes.
And because of his death, Charlotte Flair got into the business to live out his dream. Yeah. So that is like pretty a sensitive topic, but the way Randy delivered in his promo and tied it to like his SummerSlam rivalry was like a masterpiece,
Would you dare say Randy Orton is doing the best work of his career right now?
I agree. I absolutely believe so. Okay, you know why? Okay, there's only 2 high points in Randy Orton's career before this, okay?
Okay.
Obviously, his early Legend Killer days, like maybe like feuding with like Triple A, then after that feuding with Undertaker, that early Randy Orton era.
Yeah.
That was when he was his cockiest, and just a young, arrogant guy, and that made him very compelling as a heel.
Yeah.
Then the second high point of his career was obviously 2009 when he became like the sadistic ball.
Oh yeah.
Snake-like.
Viper.
The Viper, and he was punt kicking people in the head with Vince McMahon and all that.
Yeah.
That was a great point in his career. But I believe like this era of Randy Orton, right, mixed the best of both worlds from those era.
Yes.
And now he has this seasoned vet mentality.
Yeah.
And everything about his timing is just so perfect.
That was exactly what I was about to say. He's basically taken all these different facets of those characters that he's played and put it all together into like, he's the evolution of Randy Orton. He's the best version of himself now with all the tricks, and he's been down that road, so he knows exactly what to expect. He knows how to play with our feelings, and with someone like Ric Flair as well, who, I mean, come on, man, how many years of experience all add together? It's magic, bro.
And like, remember when Triple H said about Randy Orton when he was first starting out, like he is the diamond that he is the coal that they will be squeezed into a diamond, right?
Yes.
And all these years, we always thought, like, okay, Randy's gonna be a star, but he never really fulfilled all of his potential.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's better late than never. But I feel like he has not only fulfilled his potential, I think he has succeeded and like exceeded his potential. He's taken it to another level. And one thing, right? I can give you a very example of a very subtle thing that he did on Raw.
Okay.
That, like, to me is like, this is like a master at work. Did you see how he got out of the ring when Drew McIntyre came in?
No, I didn't.
You watch it back when you can, right?
Yeah.
So Randy was in the ring. He didn't see
Drew
McIntyre coming in until he slid into the ring. So like very, very last minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the way he slid into the ring, it's almost so close that he can actually just slid and then he like start punching on Randy lah.
Yeah.
But his timing and his alertness, like his ring awareness was so good. Like the moment like out of the corner of his eye, like as you know, this is Randy, and then Drew like just slid into the ring, right?
Yeah.
He just took one look, and then he was so smooth the way he backed out of the ring, like he almost like back roll out of the ring.
Right.
Like it was just one smooth motion, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like how like just a normal human being, like one of our like average dudes.
Yeah.
If you see something, you probably get startled like shit.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, and then like stumble out of the ring.
Like it will just look very messy. But the way he's just so he's like butter in the ring.
He's the viper, bro. He's like a snake.
He's slithering,
right out. Yeah,
And
no, I mean this is just
Randy
years.
Orton fan, it's a Randy Orton fan. I'm so proud of him, man.
This is just years and years and years of ring awareness. That's exactly it. He probably saw him out of the corner of his eye and timed it perfectly to maximize the effect of him. Because if he leaves the ring too early, it's like got no effect like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you said, he's literally within one hair of touching him. Oh, he's out. The perfect dodge, as it were.
Yeah, watch it. I think that describes like in terms of body language, how much in control Randy is. He's just a ring general at this point in time.
Okay,
and
well, are we done with the Randy Orton Wank Fest here?
No, a bit more. I want to
Okay.
One last thing about Randy Orton. You know how the main criticism throughout his entire career is that he's boring, right? Whether it's a monotonous voice in his promos, his matches are just slow and plodding, blah blah blah. But I just don't know whether I cannot tell any obvious difference. His voice is still the same voice.
Yeah.
His matches are still the same matches. But why I feel like everything matters more now when it's Randy Orton fighting in the ring.
Why? Oh, you don't know? You're asking me. Okay,
I'm asking you.
Maybe Edge has been giving him acting lessons. That's what it is. Because it only happened when he started feuding with Edge.
Maybe
right?
Edge really brought out the best in him, like Edge says.
Yeah. No, Edge. I mean, he spent the last couple of years, while retired, doing acting, right? And he's taking acting classes. He's obviously upped his game quite, honestly.
Yep.
So maybe he imparted some of that acting vibe over to Randy, and now Randy's like, oh, okay, actually that's cool. Maybe if I paused a little bit more, maybe if I, looked a certain way, touched on certain points,
touch a certain way,
touch certain spots. No,
Ric Flair a certain way.
Oh yeah, he did low blow. Anyway, just generally top to bottom, I think a very, very watchable Raw, which we haven't said that in many, many, many months. Yep. Finally, something to look forward to, and then SmackDown. So SmackDown, the same. And this is interesting because I thought, okay, maybe it would just be a Raw thing, but maybe Bruce Pritchard is really like getting more control now and saying, you know what, let's do this, or we're not going to get shit to work. Because on SmackDown...
I better like listen to his podcast to see whether his podcast quality is being affected.
Oh, yeah, right?
It's going to be like so overstretched with all the work, man, he's been putting in.
True. Well, to be honest... I haven't been listening to the podcast because no time now. I'm doing so many different things. I'm
sure you do, man. Yeah, what happened on SmackDown that was really memorable for you?
Okay, well, obviously Retribution once again. Yeah. And this was the second time we saw Retribution. So, this is when they used the chainsaw on the ring ropes, that kind of thing. So, yeah, they made an impact. Albeit, like we said, they sounded like a bunch of mischievous a-holes, like a bunch of trolls, more so than dangerous thugs. Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. So what was interesting was that there was no commentary during that whole interaction, right? It was the red lights and then The Fiend. And she literally showed up out of nowhere. So was it a hallucination? Was it, the Fiend trying to mess with Braun Strowman, but then Braun Strowman is like, I don't care, I'm the monster now. Screw this chick, you know? So that's like, okay, it's intriguing. It has your attention, right? And then Alexa Bliss, like, stops the Fiend from doing the mandible claw and like touches his face, caressing it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Ryan Cabrera is a lucky man? Oh, no. Sorry. Wrong thought.
Maybe Ryan Cabrera is the Fiend.
Okay, wait. Two things from that segment which I don't understand.
Yeah.
First of all, why is Braun Strowman talking so close to the camera? And why was the quality of the camera so bad? Like 360p, is it?
Maybe because he couldn't make it in, so he was at home. He filmed on his iPhone 6.
Maybe his connection in the swamp very rabak.
Well, now
swamp.
he's now a monster, ma. He's no longer the man, ma. So he's gone back to his monster days. The Fiend changed him, so that's why as a monster you cannot do
Your IG
video
your social media skills not up there,
No, so you like you know.
Okay, so that's one thing I don't understand. But second thing that was interesting about that whole promo, do you realize that Alexa Bliss, her wardrobe never changed from last week?
Yeah,
it's the exact same wardrobe.
Yeah, that studded jacket.
Could it be that, the Fiend has been kidnapping her the entire week and she haven't mandi yet, she haven't bathed yet? One whole week, stuck in the cave.
Or maybe it's a hallucination. Because she hasn't been on Raw. And actually, I think that segment, they probably taped it. If you think about it.
No, definitely. The last couple of Raws and SmackDowns hasn't been live, bro.
And if you follow her on social media, it was her birthday recently. She's been on leave. So I think she's probably just taped those segments. So maybe that's the explanation.
What if the last week's segment was filmed back to back?
Yeah, exactly.
Just saved it for this week.
Yeah. And I don't know, because she appeared once in the Swamp and then twice on SmackDown with the Fiend. So I'm wondering, is she not really there? Is she a hallucination?
Where would you want this to go? Where do you want Alexa Bliss to be placed in this story?
To be honest, I don't know. And that's what, to me, makes this good. I can't call this at all.
Yeah.
Like, is she Sister Abigail? Is she a hallucination? Is she a victim and Braun has to save her? But Braun doesn't seem like he wants to save her. Is she going to morph into Sister Abigail, be possessed by Sister Abigail? Who the hell knows, right?
Honestly, bro, like if I want to follow the storyline logic of it, now that technically, the Fiend has really mandible clawed her. She seems to be under his spell, or she seems to have some sort of control over him, because when she was caressing his face, he was like going away like, shit. Alamak, I like it too much. I feel naughty really. I need to walk away.
I feel naughty, huh?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I believe the logical thing to do is for Alexa Bliss to turn heel and align with Bray Wyatt, or be like the pawn of the Fiend in some sort of in some way, in some shape and form.
Like what everyone wants to be Sister Abigail.
Could be, but she could not necessarily be Sister Abigail. She could be possessed by Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
She's became like the bride of the Fiend, but against her will. Maybe like halfway through this story, she snapped out of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like that, I like how she's being incorporated into like this new storyline.
Well, I mean, once again, this storyline is quite fresh, so we'll have to wait and see. Like, what the next few episodes, she shows up on Raw and like pretends like I don't remember being on SmackDown. I wasn't, that kind of thing, right?
Pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. And here's the thing that we have to give props to WWE when they do a good job, right? Coming out of the Swamp match, the Swamp fight, like I don't know, I was like very cold towards like this storyline. But then like now, when Alexa Bliss suddenly appeared with the Fiend, it was so unexpected. Remember last week?
Yes.
It was the end of the main event. She already lost to Nikki Cross. She was sad. She was in the middle of the ring. Then suddenly the Fiend came.
Yeah.
And nobody can call it. Like, you don't lie if you say you knew that was going to happen,
Well, here's the thing. That's because we've been fed the PG product for so long. All of a sudden, they're going above PG a bit. They're like pushing the boundaries. So I think that's why we were shocked. But now we expect it, right? We expect more, right? More chaos, more. So it's like, ooh, I don't know if they can live up to that anymore.
I want them to push the boundaries of PG when it comes to Alexa Bliss.
Stop it, bro. Stop it in a tasteful manner that will not hurt anybody's feelings.
I mean, in terms of the violence and gore, she could be tortured. I'm just worried for her. Let's see.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
That to me was the biggest takeaway for me for SmackDown. I mean, the rest of it was all right. I love what Miz and Morrison are doing. They're just two frat boys talking shit.
Yeah. And they're just shit.
Very lepa, like talk, and then they somehow always find themselves in a match.
No, they always seem to cause a lot of problems for no reason.
Yeah, and then they get beat up for it. And you know what? I don't hate it. They're not in any sort of a main program, but I think they just have the charisma to pull it off.
Yeah. It's basically what Kevin Owens was doing on Raw.
Yeah,
being part of the Kevin Owens show and stirring shit with the girls.
Correct.
I like it. No, that is when if your character or your connection with the audience is so strong, you can be put in any situation and they will still they will still root for you because we love what you do.
Essentially, you are the facilitator for other feuds. And at Miz's point in his life, in his career, I think that's a great role for him. I'm just a bit sad that Morrison sort of isn't getting any push.
He got back and then he's now back in the background. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, okay, he's doing fun things with Miz, but not taken quote unquote seriously.
I really, really want Morrison to win that world title. That has eluded him since his last leg of his career.
Well, maybe, and we say this a lot, right? Maybe it's not about the world title. Maybe it's having a good job, doing shit you love with people you enjoy hanging out with. Maybe he's at that point of his career,
Bro, that's why I'm doing this podcast with you, bro. It's not for the money, for sure.
What money, bro? There's no money here.
There's no money in this shit, man. To be honest, with regards to John Morrison, I would categorize him under the MVP career renaissance period in their lives right now. They're doing great work, even though they're in a more limited role. And I think it's great. My only problem with the late 2000s era is some of the wrestlers kind of fell through the cracks and never made that next step and became stars,
Yeah, never came back and it is what it is. Okay, so that's Raw and SmackDown. Of course, everything is leading up to SummerSlam, which is in 2 weeks. And I'm actually quite excited. I don't know who told me, I think it was Edison, mentioned that it was going to take place on a cruise ship. I think there was that rumor, but obviously that's not the case, right?
Or SummerSlam Fight Island also.
yeah, exactly. No lah. So, are they going to do this at the Performance Center again? They haven't said anything.
If it was up to me, I want it to be a surprise, yes. But I don't want it to be done at the Performance Center. They really need to step it up. They have to make it look like a different thing,
Some kind of arena where it's still closed off, no crowd.
Yeah, sure.
Like what AEW has done. I mean, they have the luxury of having Mr. Tony Khan in their corner lah.
I'm sure they can just get any it doesn't even have to be an enclosed area. It can be an open space. I think it would be really cool if they can do it at an empty stadium like Jacksonville.
Oh God, yeah.
That would be pretty badass.
Hey, but, Jacksonville is also Florida.
Yeah. The Rock, I'm sure, can pull some strings. He bought the XFL after all, right?
Oh my! Can we talk about that for a second? The Rock bought the XFL. What a shit investment! No, I'm kidding. Why though? I don't get it.
No, okay. I actually think that it's a master stroke, bro. I really think it's a master stroke move by the Rock.
You don't think it's a favor to Vince?
I mean, regardless whether it's a favor to Vince, if it is, it is. But I just think it's so cool that XFL still remains in a wrestling name, with a wrestling owner as the person in charge. And of course, The Rock has his roots in NFL, right? So he has
football.
He has a stake in football.
Be clear, American football, not football.
Yeah. I wish he was, but
soccer.
But The Rock never made it in NFL. He played for the CFL in the Canadian Football League. So I think he of all people would want to have an alternate league to succeed. Wouldn't that be a feather in his cap to say that, hey, NFL never accepted me, but you know what? I built a league and I'm the owner of that league that is rivaling NFL. I mean, dope story coming from him.
Exactly, and he is the highest paid actor for the past 2 years already.
He has the money for it, for sure.
Yeah, he has the clout, he has the name. Imagine him just showing up on every episode, just hyping things up, kicking things off.
I think he's an even better fit as the owner of a football league than Vince McMahon, even. To me.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially,
look at him. Just look at him.
I watched The Ballers, bro. I watched his HBO series.
Yeah.
He fits it, man. I can imagine him in the locker room, and all the, NFL players looking up to him and wanting to, impress him. And I think this is the best piece of positive XFL news that they can ever hope to get. You know what I mean?
Do you see the meme?
What?
Of The Rock and then, a picture of his daughter. Yes, the contract on the XFL says, Johnson. But it's not Dwayne Johnson
yeah. Oh my god. Yeah,
playing off the whole Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon when the
I think
McMahons bought over WCW. That was quite funny.
I think I posted that. I
You
was the one
posted-
that that found out about it. Yeah,
I
it was
laughed.
crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing. Like, I really, to me lah, I want XFL to succeed. You know, I think there is a market for that, and the fact that there's that wrestling connection.
Yeah.
Whatever that wrestlers do outside of wrestling,
Mhm.
if it is positive, it always brings good, positive news, a reputation back to the wrestling industry.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm going to say obviously I'm no expert in NFL. I haven't watched the NFL in a long time. The last time I watched was like in secondary school. San Francisco 49ers, that was my team. Steve Young, Jerry Rice. Anyway.
You watched it in Singapore when you were overseas?
Yeah, in Singapore. I was in Singapore. I watched.
They were showing
yeah, on
ESPN?
cable, and it was like, I don't even think we had ESPN back then, bro. I don't even remember what channel it was, but I had to go to my grandfather's house to watch because he had cable.
SCV.
Oh, no. Actually, no, not even. This wasn't even SCV. They showed it on like Channel 5 or something.
What?
Yeah, but
They
it was
show NFL?
like, God, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody's as old as I am, but I remember watching it and it was like very late. Like obviously it's like AM, like 2, 3 AM sort of a broadcast. Or was it 5 AM? Anyway, whatever. I used to watch the NFL. So I'm no expert, but it's going to be very tough to dethrone. I mean, okay, it's going to be like AEW. Let's put it that way,
But isn't it, that's their plan all along. It's not to dethrone NFL. They want to run their season during the off season of
Correct.
NFL.
Just
So
to get
that,
that audience.
Yeah, so that they have the audience, because there's no football to watch during that spring season, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and the seasonal break is really long, so I can see where they fit into the whole schedule. Obviously, after COVID lah,
but
COVID's gonna fuck shit up for now.
Of course, it's always going to be is the talent as good? Is it a equal or better league? But I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So yeah, that's an exciting bit of news wrestling wise. Okay, Raw, SmackDown, good stuff. Let's move on to the Wednesday Night Wars real quick before we jump into our topic for today. Because like we said, SummerSlam is in 2 weeks. We want to talk about those SummerSlam memories. And
yeah, bro. Yes.
Thank you very much for your suggestions over on our Instagram page. Okay, let's talk about the Wednesday Night War. I watched AEW this week only. I haven't watched NXT yet. Have you watched NXT or you just eyeball?
No. I didn't even I didn't even know what happened in NXT.
Really?
Yeah, I was so busy this morning, but I did check out AEW's result. Only because I was really curious. I wanted to see who won between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. Yeah.
Okay, the only thing I've seen of NXT is because I went on social media was Keith Lee. Did you see the clip?
Yeah. He had the fireball attack on him, right?
Like he opened up like a folder and then poof, fire. So him and Karrion Kross, they're gonna have their thing. Scarlett Bordeaux as well.
So obviously it's gonna lead up to an Inferno match.
Oh shit! Yeah. Or something else. Who knows?
I mean, to me, it's like, what was up with that, man? Like, why all of a sudden they want to incorporate this, like, shady shit? I don't know.
Well, you know what it is? It's like their entire direction has been more gritty and more unpredictable. So I applaud them for it. Obviously, hopefully everyone does it safely. But I mean, this is a gimmick that has been done a million times over. So they know how to do it, lah. Unless you're Hulk Hogan, then, Does anybody know what I'm referencing, by the way?
I do not know.
Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. At one point, oh my God, I forgot which, I think it was on the Nitro. It was supposed to be this like big rematch, right? Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior in WCW.
Yep.
It was a shit match because it was two guys way over their prime. And at one point, even my dog is getting angry, barking already as I talk about. Can you hear her?
Yeah, I can.
Hogan was supposed to take out, like the flash paper to throw in somebody's eyes and it explodes.
Yeah.
He completely fucked it up, fumbled it all over the place. So it lit up in his hand and he dropped it and it looked so bad. You could see him drop the lighter, all that shit.
What the hell? Seriously? This was in WCW?
This is classic. Go and Google that shit.
Oh man,
Hogan
post that on our IG, man. That would be so funny.
Yeah, Hogan Warrior. So it's nothing
Hogan,
like that. At least they pulled it off.
Yeah, Hogan has been known to fuck shit up no matter where he goes, so it's fine.
In many ways. But that's about it for NXT. Velveteen Dream is back. He confronted Finn Balor.
So what happened was he was named as the mystery challenger. They had a triple threat match to for a qualifying match for a North American title bout, right?
Yeah.
So it was Cameron Grimes and Kushida and then like a mystery partner. Velveteen Dream appeared. And of course, like, he beat the holy shit out of all of them.
Yeah.
But somehow Cameron Grimes managed to steal the victory and like pin Kushida.
Mm-hmm.
And that made Velveteen Dream even more intense, and like he just went crazy. So here's the thing I'm very curious about. How is Velveteen Dream gonna be presented on his return? Obviously we know what happened, why he even left TV for a while, right? The shit that happened, in terms of like the allegations of abuse and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, will the crowd forgive him? Is he gonna still remain like a popular face, or is he gonna use this and turn him into like a despicable heel? I don't know, man. I'm just happy Velveteen Dream is back. I'm personally a fan, irrespective of whatever he did outside. But as a wrestler, as a personality, I really, really want him to succeed. So I hope he gets some sort of redemption, lah.
I mean, obviously we'll have to wait and see, and only time will tell. I find it very tough to talk about NXT on these Thursdays because I watch it on Friday. So let's talk about AEW Dynamite. The funny thing is, for the first time, I felt like Raw was more enjoyable than AEW Dynamite.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that AEW sucked. I don't think it sucked. But it wasn't quite as crazy, which goes back to what we say. Like, we know that WWE has it in them to do good stuff, right? To be entertaining, to be crazy. But the fact that they don't do it all the time is annoying. So, okay, AEW Tag Team Appreciation Night. I guess that was the whole gimmick. And to be honest, I thought it sucked because there was a lot of dick sucking when it came to the Young Bucks. And the second that shit happens, I roll my eyes all the way back of my head. Okay,
so I'm just curious to know about one thing. If this was a Tag Team Appreciation Night, so where was FTR on the show? Were they featured? Yes, they were in the... Here's the thing. It's like, okay, all throughout the night, right, they had like sit-down clips with tag teams talking about who their favorite tag teams were. Obviously, none of them are going to say any of the WWE folk. So it was like, I think Kenny Omega said it was the Young Bucks. I was like... And of course, like Hangman Page was like, whatever, So there was that. Yeah. And then I can't remember who it was. They talked about the Legion of Doom. So it was nice throwbacks, callbacks. You started the night with the Young Bucks as well, and they beat who they beat? I don't even Dark
remember.
Order?
Yeah, Dark Order, yeah. So okay, the quote-unquote culmination of Tag Team Appreciation Night, and I thought it could have been bigger. Like, they could have actually showed more clips of tag teams, but the fact that they don't have the archive that the WWE has really hurts it because they're just showing like Young Buck stuff or random
it's just Young Bucks all the way. It's basically Tag Team Appreciation Night. It's a Young Bucks Appreciation Night. Is that what you're trying to say?
Screw that shit, screw that shit. So the main climax of it was FTR and the Young Bucks in the ring together with the Rock and Roll Express and Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Yeah. So that they had the whole talk, Arn Anderson blowing smoke up the Young Bucks as, you guys are great. Rock and Roll Express telling everybody how great the Young Bucks are. Of course, all the while I'm like rolling my eyes. And I mean, the whole point was to get to the FTR turn lah, because Tully Blanchard, of course, him being the heel, he starts shitting on them, saying they're not that good. Why? They aren't holding the titles. How can they claim to be the best? Which makes a lot of sense.
Of course.
All that was great until like a fight broke out. Of course it would. And then FTR attacks Rock and Roll Express, thus turning heel. Because they beat the shit out of the old guys.
I mean, I thought they were going to be heel like the moment they enter into AEW, man. So like, I guess this is like long overdue.
Yeah. It was all right, establish them as a heel. Could have, by beating up legends.
Was there like a stare down with the Young Bucks after that?
I don't remember. See, I didn't particularly feel like this segment was like anything special, but that could be down to my incredible bias against the Young Bucks.
Incredible bias.
But to be honest, if it was good, I would say it was good.
Yep, fair enough.
It was all right. It was a thing. And MJF, he had his moment as well. To be honest, like, is it overdone? Like him being a cowardly shit-eating, grin sort of a heel. Like,
what did he do this week then?
A State of the Union address thing again. So he stood at the podium. Yeah, so he does a lot of small, little, subtle things that, like, oh my God, he's such a douche. And maybe because he's doing it so well, like, I'm starting to be like, him again. Yeah. Maybe it works. See, maybe that's the thing. It works. So, but the problem is he's going up against Jon Moxley, and unless they are willing to pull the trigger on giving him the championship, I'm very afraid he's going to be another Murder Hawk. He's going to be another Brody Lee. Just another person in the way for Jon Moxley to beat up.
I think Moxley and MJF is a very weird pairing. I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, obviously it's a fresh matchup. Never seen them fight each other one-on-one, in a sustained program before. But, like, for example, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, like, I can see where they match up. I can see where they differ. Yep. Like, even Moxley versus Darby Allin, like, I can see where they match up. I can see where they differ. They look like, it will be a pretty cool chemistry. But, like, MJF and, like, Moxley, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think they will have good chemistry in my mind.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think they will.
I feel like the vignettes could be very cool. Like the stuff they film, like, MJF is like sipping whatever, acting all atas, and then I think that's where it could shine. The whole contrast between one's this dirty, grimy brawler fighter versus the other one who's all high class, surrounding himself with the finest things. I think the vignettes of him at a restaurant and then talking shit about, Dean or John, and then John just shows up dressed as a waiter, beats the shit out of him or whatever, stuff like that.
Just the thing that I don't like about AEW, and you know me, like I do support the company, but but for me, the thing I don't understand is why they move on and they cycle through their opponents so fast. Yeah, like to me, the Brian Cage story is not done yet. You know? I'm sure there's more that can be told through Taz, because Taz threw in the towel only one.
Correct, exactly. There is an argument to be made. Oh, he threw in the towel. I didn't actually submit. You come and fight me, and actually make me submit.
That's why I don't know why they just rush through the entire roster. By the time end of 2020, they got no one else to fight already. And fire everyone and sign new people already. Yeah,
exactly. I think this is the biggest criticism of AEW we can have in this year. Yeah. Even though we've said a lot of good things about them, it seems like they debut people and they give them a bit of a shine. And then all of a sudden, they drop straight down to the mid-card after that.
Isn't it almost like a territory kind of, what do you call it? Like a territory approach to wrestling? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like territories, the heels come into the show.
Right.
They make some sort of nuisance, make some sort of impact, but then by the end of like the main card, they get kicked out, they lose, and then they disappear. Isn't it like a very territory approach to it?
It is, but the thing is, back then, they would disappear and go to a different territory to do the same shit. Right? So there was a reason for their disappearance. This is like, we see Murder Hawk, and he had this random backstage thing with Jake the Snake. I don't know if you saw the promo, but Jake is on the stick and he's talking about like, and then Murder Hawk is beating up some random jobbers in the background. Then Murder Hawk goes up to Jake. Have you shown them? Have you told them? Have you told them? Then it's like Jake's like, oh no, wait lah, I'm getting there. Then he tears his shirt up. Like he strips Jake the Snake.
For what?
And then turns Jake around. Everybody dies is written on Jake's back in marker. I was like, what the?
This happened on
AEW.
Dynamite.
Yeah. Like, this was the message that the Murder Hawk wanted to tell everybody.
So what's it supposed to mean?
He had to write it on Jake's back.
That's quite disgusting, but okay.
No, but it's like, okay. I mean,
like, where are they going with this,
Yeah, visually it looks interesting, right? Like, I rip his shirt off, and then at the back it says everybody dies. Wow. But the problem is it's obviously written in marker. It's not like it's a cool tattoo. If Jake legit had a tattoo of everybody dies in the back and he pulls it off and then the reveal, wow, that would have been cool. But no, it's obviously a marker.
If that was all written in blood, that would be bad.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, like they can, like, as if like he scratched it into his back or some shit like that. But no, it was like, so you're telling me that before this scene happened, see, this is the overthinker in me, right? Before this scene happened, y'all was hanging around backstage, shirtless, writing shit on each other's back? Like, what?
No, that's not overthinking, bro. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, like, to me, that is like, I don't know, am I over-logicking this? But it just seemed a bit...
Over-logicking.
Yeah, it seemed a bit silly. Okay, so there was the Sammy Guevara, Matt Hardy thing as well. So that's an ongoing feud. Matthew. And his
more formal than him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this whole thing was, he was being interviewed by Marvez, and then he saw somebody walk by who looked like Sammy Guevara, wearing a cap and, got a bit of swag, and he beats him up. But it turns out it was a ref.
What the fuck?
So I guess the whole,
Okay.
they're going with the whole Matt Hardy is kind of losing his shit angle.
Okay lah, they're telling a couple of stories with Matt. I like that, Matt is at the mid card. Not that I don't want Matt to be like the main event kind of, but I like that, he's being the MVP in AEW, like the veteran role and all that. But what I really want to ask you about, bro, is what do you think of the new TNT title, bro?
Oh shit, bro. Remember, we were like, okay, it's an unfinished title. Give chance. Give maybe, they bling it out a bit, it will look good. It looks like the same shit only in gold. And still looks like shit. It looks worse than the 24/7 title.
Didn't you say that you bling it out, it will look good, put in a bit of gold? They did exactly what you were told to tell them to do.
No. I never had high hopes for it. I was hoping for more plates, more, decorative carvings.
Okay. You know what? Shit. You know what I think it looks like? To me, it looks like a boxing belt.
Okay.
Like,
I see.
Like, I don't know why boxing belts, they really like their belts to be very colorful. Like, it's either super red or like super green, but at the straps, right? Like, okay, personally for me, I think it's better than the silver one. Like, like silver one really look like it's incomplete. Now that I know that this is what they were planning to do all along, like, they should have just waited. And like, if they release it like this version, I mean, it will have mixed reviews for sure, but at least I do see the prestige, of wearing it.
Well, okay, the performer makes the belt, and at least it's on Cody. At least it's on somebody who literally defending it every single week. What I am annoyed at is the fact that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can come in and contend for it, throwing out the whole ranking system. And we talked about this before,
Have they even mentioned the ranking system?
Once in a while they do. When like
they talk about like the winning records and that kind of stuff, right?
But also it's like, Adam Page and Kenny Omega had to fight Jurassic Express, right? But Jurassic Express are ranked number 5. So why the hell do they fight them for the titles?
That's it. Like the problem with this ranking system, as much as it seems very innovative, right? But they are putting a crutch on your storyline telling,
Correct.
Like you can't tell stories because you have to adhere to this such specific rule.
But, and when you break the rules, when you try to tell the stories you want to tell, it becomes freaking obvious.
Yeah, basically you just put a dampener on your own, ability to tell your stories, because you created this rule. I know rules are meant to be broken, but even if they want to break it, it has to be done in like a way that makes sense. Like a heel's doing it. Yeah,
like we talked about, if a rule is to be broken, it has to be done by a heel. Like, the heel, like MJF gets a lawyer to work his contract. Like he's ranked number 5, but somehow his lawyer, then you can tell that story. Now it's like, I just throw the whole damn thing out and just forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. But the thing about the title itself, in terms of the appearance, right? It reminds me of one other title, not by the look or like the color of it, but the shape of the main plate, like the main circular belt.
The 24/7 title?
Yeah, similar shape, but no. And this might be controversial to you, but if you really look at it, it does look the same shape as the WWF Attitude Era title.
Oh.
The circle.
Yeah. I see what you mean, but the red cannot. Like the classic black, with the winged eagle and everything.
That would have looked dope if they made an iteration of that.
Oh, and the problem is there's a giant TNT logo on it, which makes it look damn cock lah.
I don't know whether in this era, everyone needs to plaster their logo on their belt for image PR purposes. I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, it's for the money because TNT paid them or are giving them an outlet. Yeah. So I understand it from a business standpoint, but from this is a cool belt. No, this looks like something someone created a belt on the video game.
Would you have preferred it to be like this or still like the unfinished silver version?
To be honest, I actually got used to the silver version. Now that they're like, this, I guess, okay, it's also expectations, right? Okay, they're like, this is unfinished. Wait till you see the finish, right? If they didn't say that, that'd be okay, whatever. But now that they've said, this is the finish, it's like, I don't see anything better.
You know what? I think it will grow on you. I really think it will grow after a while.
I hope so.
You know, like for me, right, I actually got used to the Universal title, the red belt. and then they turn it blue. I was just getting used to it.
Well,
So
like, to be honest, like, you know, when the IC title came out or when the US title came out, I was like, okay, those look cool. There was no like ifs and buts.
You're talking about the new ones?
The new ones, yeah. I like them. I don't hate them at all, right? But when the TNT title first showed up, I was like, unfinished. And then now, like, oh, here's the finished one. Also,
to me, the prettiest belts in AEW, actually the first one is actually the tag team titles. To me, the tag team titles look like, because the way it's shaped is like the old IC championship, like 1994.
Yeah.
Very, very nice rectangular block. I really like that. Secondly, I do like the AEW, the main title, because it looks so ornate. Like,
okay, you know what my main problem with the main AEW title is?
Why?
I don't even remember how it looks like because we rarely ever see it. John Moxley is rarely on the show, like with his title, walking down the ramp. He just, you know, he shows up, beats people up, or he's in a vignette. And usually in these vignettes, he doesn't have the title with him. He's just being badass. So I actually don't remember how it looks like.
You know, it's funny, but it actually reminds me of the ECW title, but the WWE version.
Oh, right.
The silver one.
Weird shape, yeah.
Yeah. When initially, right, when their AEW title was being presented, I was very curious, like, why did they decide to make it like silver instead of like, you know, legit gold, right? But it grew on me because it felt gritty, felt different.
Yep.
But this TNT title, like I said, my first impression, it reminds me of a boxing belt.
Yeah.
And if you look at it like a boxing belt, I wouldn't say it's ugly because, like, I have seen some very garish, cartoony.
Bro, I have not seen a boxing belt that I legit like. Most boxing belts to me are Uggs.
Have you seen those belts that, you know, Manny Pacquiao wear or like Mayweather? Yeah. It's always green and Flavor Fave will probably wear it.
It's a thing, I don't know. Maybe if you're into boxing, you'd be into that as well. And
I don't understand.
Does TNT show boxing? I feel like maybe if they do, there's a link.
I can't remember.
Interesting thing. The 22nd of August, they're actually going to air an episode of Dynamite that week. Dynamite will be on Saturday instead of Wednesday.
Really? Why?
Because I think they want to capitalize on the NBA playoffs. AEW Dynamite, Dynamite will air right after the NBA playoffs.
On a Saturday.
So I guess what they want to do is catch that NBA audience, like, you know,
right over
like people who might be, you know, because NBA playoffs, people will like invite friends to their home, they'll drink, they'll watch the game. And then if they stick around and watch after that, it's Dynamite. So
that's smart. Smart.
And it's also what?
NXT,
weekend.
right?
Yeah.
It's NXT take over that night.
Yeah. So it's interesting, huh?
It's gonna be crazy, man. Next week. It's gonna be it's all about next week, right?
So
okay. We definitely gonna talk about it when it comes next week. And now that I have a very nice ring light,
oh god,
you know, you will probably enjoy the viewing experience even more, you know, on top of the audio experience.
Oh right, okay, yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
that will help get a few more views, huh?
Oh my gosh. Okay, what else? Yeah,
come on, let's talk about the main event, man. Let's just talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about main event. Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho, to me, can do no wrong right now. Yep. He's the best thing on AEW, and he's doing his best to put over someone like Orange Cassidy, who, to be honest, before his feud with Chris Jericho, I don't think anybody thought, well, okay, people knew that he had something, but it was like, was it too gimmicky? Was it too, like, you know, much of a joke to be a main event thing?
Yeah.
But if Chris Jericho has done anything, it's elevate him to a point where, okay, I can take him seriously as upper mid-card guy and maybe even a main event guy.
So now, after watching his match, like the way he was being presented on this episode, he feels legit to you? He does.
It really feels... It feels like this whole, like, you know, laissez-faire thing is to throw your opponent off. Like, it's a tactic that he uses. And the commentators do highlight it as well to give context to it. So it's not just like, why the hell is he, like, doing these taps or, like, big chops, you know?
Actually, I'm proud of him. I'm proud that he managed to make his character serious.
Well, I mean, he probably has Chris Jericho in his ear as well. And Chris knows that, okay, this gimmick is selling T-shirts, but can he take it to the next level? I feel like Chris has made it his job to do that. And what a veteran, you know?
Do you know there's one other character back in the day that I felt was very, very close to reaching that can be taken seriously level? but just fell short.
Who?
Santino Marella.
Oh my God. No. Really? Santino Marella?
Do you remember 2011 and 2012? 2011, 2012, yes, correct. 2000.
Like, I missed
No.
the snake stuff.
Oh, you missed the era. Okay, so in
Yeah.
2012, no, 2011, no. In 2011, it was actually the final 2 in the Royal Rumble.
This is vaguely familiar.
It was the 40-man Royal Rumble, which was won by Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't watch that.
He for some reason he managed to last until the final 2, and like Alberto Del Rio, I think eliminated like one of the main guy, maybe I can't remember who lah, John Cena, whatever it is, and then Alberto thought he won, but then no one realized that Santino slipped back into the ring because he was eliminated but under the ring. He was like, then he was like crossing himself, and then he actually went for the thing, and people thought he was gonna win. But then this idiot, he celebrated, he ran around the ring, he did his trumpet, and was like, hey, what the fish you doing? You throw him out lah. So by the time he went to throw it out, right at the last second, right, Alberto Del Rio reversed and threw him out.
Right.
So that was when that whole 2011, 2012, right? Oh no, the adult just jumped.
Yeah, she jumped off my lap and pulled my headphone wire. Sorry.
What?
Anyway.
And then towards the end of that run, he was being taken seriously to the point that he was also the final 2 in the Elimination Chamber match. That was won by Daniel Bryan.
Wow, okay. I need to go back and watch that shit. Santino Marella, main event, huh?
Yeah, he was. And he was damn over, bro. I'm not even kidding, man. Like, people, like, it was that Cinderella Man storyline. So it's not like he was taken seriously, but like there's this like groundswell of support. Like, okay, Cinderella Marella has been this joke character or this comedic character, but now like he has a chance to go to the main event. Like, you want to see him succeed. Yeah. So that one I can see like why it never passed that point. It makes sense to fall short, but with Orange Cassidy, you think it can be like even to the point of a world title contender?
I think you would have to tell a compelling story. I think your world champion would have to be somebody who would be a veteran enough to put him over in a way that makes him look good lah, and makes the whole program look good and not just a complete joke. So considering who is the champion now, it's not going to happen.
I mean, to each their own, man. To each their own.
No, you need a killer heel. You need a killer heel who is veteran enough to pull this off.
I feel like Orange Cassidy, give him a couple of years, he'll be the most popular thing in wrestling, like to the point that he'll be mainstream. Because here's why I think that's the case. I have seen some of my friends, non-wrestling fans, bro, discovering Orange Cassidy on Facebook, like as a meme and whatever it is, and they really like it. They are like, I think they cut out a clip of his match with Pop, and it became a viral meme.
No, but do they like it because he's doing his whole laissez-faire thing, and they're like, oh, this is who says wrestling is not real, you know? And it's almost like they're insulting wrestling in that case.
But I think it's the gimmick feels very, very fresh to non-wrestling fans. Like they've probably never seen it. Like, whoa, what's this guy? But that would be the hook that gets them curious. But once they really see how he can work, how he tells his story, how he's being presented, I really, really think that he can be one of the most popular wrestlers in his AEW generation. I'm pretty sure.
That being said, of course, Orange Cassidy got the win with this weird roll-up, which was a bit clumsy right at the end. So it didn't feel like a smooth finish. But then again, you know, roll-ups aren't supposed to be smooth. They're supposed to be a little bit clunky. So I didn't hate it, but I don't know. Is this the last between them? I hope not, because I felt like they could have. Yeah, I feel like there can be more.
One thing I always get a kick out, right, is when he does his Superman punch, but then they call it the orange
punch. Yes. It's quite funny. It's funny, like it's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah.
Really.
I just want to bring up a very funny moment between Taz and JR. Like, he called the Uranagi is essentially the rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
So JR called it the rock bottom, then Taz called it the Uranagi. Then I was like, so which came first? Then they got into this quick 20-second debate about which name came first, you know?
Okay.
I love Taz. I don't miss Excalibur at all. If Excalibur returns and replaces Taz, I'd be like, shit, it sucks. And to me, one of the more enjoyable things about the program is the fact that Taz is in there. You know, he's sort of being heelish. He's the heel announcer after all.
Yeah, yeah.
And he brings a very good dynamic to this Tony Schiavone and JR combo.
I love Taz as well. I've always enjoyed him on SmackDown. I think he had great chemistry with Michael Cole.
Yeah.
My only problem is that Taz is an older guy now. He's like almost 50 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't, like, they need to, the thing that WWE has on the AEW announcers, as ageist as it is for me to say, is that the announcers are young and like kind of like current with the wrestlers, in terms of the product.
Correct.
We are gonna have like a almost 70-year-old man, like a 60-year-old man, and now a 50-year-old man calling the action for like kids. I don't know.
That's true.
There might be a generation gap someday. Some sort. Yeah.
That is true. Well, I mean, if Excalibur can learn and go on Dark and start taking notes from people like Taz, people like, JR and whatnot, then maybe he could be the next level. But right now, it's just much easier to listen to three veterans do it.
Yeah.
And JR is slowly getting back into the groove.
Yeah.
He doesn't make weird fubas here and there anymore.
We trust that no matter how old he gets, his talent will always shine through.
Yeah. No, he has a talent for telling a story, painting a picture. That's what he is. He's not going to tell you what move that is. A tope, con hero.
And that's how I enjoy my wrestling commentators as well. Like, I don't want them to be like spot callers, I want them to be able to tell a wrestling match,
paint the story, tell me what's going on. Like, I mean, Taz, I feel like has that balance. Like, he can call a tope con hero, he can call an uranagi, but he doesn't overdo it.
Yeah, fair enough. But if you want to be fair to JR, right, I believe that he's also getting to know these wrestlers as much as we are. And I think once he is able to connect with the wrestler, or he can see what is it about him that will connect to the audience, he will know how to sell it,
Correct.
I think, like, okay, maybe I haven't watched this match yet, but can you tell, like, okay, now JR knows how to sell Orange Cassidy.
Yes.
And make him relatable.
No, that's exactly it. And sometimes he does it tongue-in-cheek, I feel, but it works because it's Orange Cassidy and he has that sort of vibe anyway, It's sort of we get the inside joke.
Yeah.
But whereas when he first started calling Orange Cassidy, you're right. He was like a bit like, you could tell he's uncomfortable with trying to sell what the hell this guy is doing because it looks hokey.
Yeah. And I think he's fair to him because he's such a professional guy. He has a certain standard, right? He wants to be able to be convinced himself.
Yeah.
Then he'll be willing to sell it to the audience,
That's right.
I think maybe at that point he also wasn't convinced, which is a very fair point,
But now he's convinced, and he's not to make a pun, but he's all in, bro. He's all in.
It is true. Speaking of all in and speaking of veterans, bro, one familiar face popped up at the end of the show, which I didn't realize.
AEW?
Yeah. The referee.
Mike Chioda. Yes.
So and Mike Chioda now is in AEW.
Yeah, Jericho even referenced the fact that he helped him get his job back once during a backstage promo. I believe that was an angle back in WWE.
Because Mike Chioda was actually on Chris Jericho's Talk His Jericho podcast when you first got released,
Right.
So I'm happy that he has another home.
Yeah.
When I saw the photo, I was like, hey, Mike Chioda.
Yeah. Cool. So that's cool. That's this week's, update in the wrestling world. I mean, it's interesting. I hesitate because I was just about to say it's an exciting time to watch wrestling again. It feels.
No, I wouldn't be ashamed to say that.
Yeah.
I feel that like we've went through a very dark summer. Let's be honest, man. Like the last couple of months, it's been tough to watch wrestling.
And a lot of it has to do with COVID. No audience, holding patterns.
We have to accept that, but we also have to give credit when good things are being done.
Yeah.
So WWE is picking up, and it is fun to watch wrestling right now. Like I'm not dragging my feet to watch Raw. Like I really watch Raw live in the morning, just to see and not miss any crazy shit that happens. And long may it continue. I hope SummerSlam is like one of the best shows that they put up this year, lah.
I hope so. And talking about SummerSlam and shows that are memorable, let's talk about it right now. SummerSlam memories. Once again, thank you for your suggestions on our Instagram page. As always, kick to the gut. That's us on Instagram. Slide. We like it when you slide into our DMs.
Yes. Please check out our content, like our content. And we need more people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. We need to build it up. We need to build it up, guys.
Kick to the gut. Hey, we got some big plans for that YouTube channel in season 4, by the way. I can't wait to work on it. Yeah, exactly, right? Maybe our 100th episode even will do something special. But that is weeks to come. Okay, let's jump on this right now. We're talking about SummerSlam. Let's see. Okay, so memorable moments, memorable matches. While I load this. Eurasian Dragon. Yo, what's up? Booker T versus The Rock 2001. This was for the big gold belt, right?
This was the big gold belt. This was The Rock's return after he finished filming The Mummy Returns in the summer.
When he wasn't this mega, he was like budding Hollywood star.
Yeah.
Now he's like Hollywood royalty.
Remember when he returned and like he was looking at the camera was panning up at the Rocky statue in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and then it panned down and it was The Rock.
Yeah, and then the crowd just exploded.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because they were deciding that was the night where it was the Alliance and Vince McMahon. They were trying to convince The Rock to join either one of the factions, right?
Yeah. And of course, The Rock chose the WWE lah because, he's WWE born and bred.
For life.
I don't remember the match per se, to be honest.
I just remember that The Rock won.
Yeah, it was like rock bottom versus book end, which is the similar move lah.
Which is Urunagi lah.
Yeah, Urunagi. Edison, Batista, JBL, SummerSlam 05.
That was a good SummerSlam, man. That was the SummerSlam where Undertaker fought Randy Orton as well.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, you have the photographic memory or the wrestling memory. What was this feud about? Do you remember?
Okay, if you remembered, that was the summer where the main guys on both shows switched brands. Remember? John Cena with the WWE title went to Raw.
Right.
And they actually wanted to make a SmackDown championship because they didn't have a main title guy, right?
Yeah.
But on the last day of the draft, they got the world champion Batista to go over to SmackDown because they had like a match to crown the new SmackDown champion.
Right.
JBL won that match.
Yeah.
And then Teddy Long came out and he was like, hey, there is no need to have a SmackDown title because...
Hold on.
Yeah.
He did holla holla first, I'm sure.
Yes, he did holla holla. he did a match where he was one-on-one with
The Undertaker.
And then I think he did a tag team main event. if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're probably right. Don't need to check. Okay, cool.
No, yeah. So yeah, I think that was when JBL won the supposed SmackDown title, but then Teddy Long came out and said, "Oh, there is no need for the SmackDown title because we have Batista now being the world champion. So you won and became the number one contender for that."
Right. Yeah. I see.
So that was the story that was being told.
Okay. Muhammad Daniel also says The Rock versus Booker T for the WCW title. That one really stands out. Huh? Several people have.
Do you know why? I really feel it's because that SummerSlam was interesting as it was like a alliance field.
Right.
Card.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of stories of WCW versus ECW and WWE involved. So I think that was a memorable SummerSlam. Before we continue, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I don't know whether anyone mentioned in the SummerSlam memory, but 2005 is famous for one other thing. Do you remember?
2005. No, what?
Hulk Hogan versus Shawn Michaels.
Oh my God! Actually, somebody mentioned that as well. Mr. Stubius says Hulk Hogan versus HBK shit show. Memorable for the wrong reason.
It's the best selling of all time by Shawn Michaels.
Right. Okay, so I actually saw a clip. Did you post this clip? Somebody posted this clip on Facebook the other day, and I saw it. And I had forgotten about this match, and when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, now I remember. Because Hulk Hogan, obviously, I mean, his age, right? He couldn't really go. And like, literally, he would tap Shawn, and Shawn would like flip around, like, one of those video games with fucked up physics.
Yeah, that's like elastic
character,
right?
He would flip 5 times for like...
It's quite funny.
It's super. And then when he hits the leg drop and he like flops around like he got hit by a nuclear bomb.
No, I love it when I think he got clothesline out of the ring, right? And when he fall down, he tumble, he do like 2 or 3 forward rolls.
I need to really watch that match just to relive how redonkulous it was. Okay, do you think that takes away from the match? Like, he's obviously overset. Or was it made the match?
I think that made, like, obviously it could have gone 2 ways. Obviously it could have been this epic Hulk Hogan Rock kind of vibe. Like, it was super serious, super like epic. It could have been that. Yeah. But this was epic in another way. And I know Shawn Michaels purposely did it. Like, he just wanted to piss off Hulk Hogan. But you gotta admit, it's memorable as hell. Like,
yeah, it made it stand out because you're right. There was no way they were gonna have some brutal classic. He was not going to do anything athletic, so Shawn's like, okay, I'll just sell like a mask for you.
But another problem was Shawn Michaels wanted to make it a trilogy of matches. The idiot Hulk Hogan piece of shit. He was the one that said, I do not want to lose the match, number one. Secondly, I don't want to face a face. I want it to be a heel. Face is a heel dynamic. So Shawn Michaels turned heel for this bastard.
Oh,
remember, he
right,
heel,
okay, yeah.
He only turned heel for 1 month just to fight Hulk Hogan, you know?
Yeah, and then just flopped around like a fish for him.
Yeah, no, the reason is he turned heel with the agreement that, okay, it's going to be a trilogy of matches.
And then?
So that, okay, Shawn Michaels take the loss, after that he will take a win in a second match, and then we have like a big payoff, right, the next year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then Hulk Hogan, like very near to the event, like maybe like 1 week before, said that, you know what, I don't want to lose. So he was playing his politics. That is why Shawn Michaels was like, fuck, fine, I'm going to go your way, but I'm going to go out my own way.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, I totally forgot about all that.
Yeah, so if Shawn Michaels did all that shit, you don't blame him, you blame Hulk Hogan.
I mean, he did his best to freaking make it happen, you know?
He still put him over at the end of the day.
Oh, walao eh. But I mean, when The Rock fought Hulk, The Rock sold, but it's like, and The Rock oversells as it is already, but HBK took it to a whole different level of overselling.
But can you tell why HBK will be pissed off? Like, why does Hulk Hogan need to win?
Yeah, he's already Hulk
need
Hogan.
The Rock.
Yeah. Whatever lah. Anyway, now I feel like rewatching that match just for the vibes.
Just to relive that era.
Okay. What about your favorite memories? Like, I was trying to think about it, and I had to actually look up some of these matches because I can't remember when they happened. But okay, I believe the very first TLC match happened at SummerSlam 2000.
Yes, indeed. I remember this, and one SummerSlam that I haven't watched like in its entirety in a long time is SummerSlam 2000. I really, really want to watch it again, and probably I'm gonna watch this like before this year's SummerSlam just to relive my memory. If you're gonna ask me about my favorite memories, I have a couple, man. I do have a couple. My first ever SummerSlam that I ever watched when I was old enough to remember things, was actually SummerSlam 2004.
Okay.
I was 12 years old. Yeah. Okay.
What match stood out to you?
The reason why I watched that was the match where Randy Orton became the youngest world heavyweight champion of all time.
Right.
Where he won the title by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He defeated no one and became the world champion by himself.
He defeated no one? What do you mean?
Come on. You get it. Who was the world champion at that time, 2004?
Was it CM Punk?
2004, bro.
Oh, 4. I don't remember. Yeah.
Okay. He murdered his wife and child.
He murdered his wife and child? What?
Oh my God, Mr.
Chris?
Young. Mr. Young, yes.
Benoit. Oh, right. Okay.
Oh my God.
I drew a blank for a second. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, he was supposed to have fought Chris Benoit, but obviously what happened?
No. Randy Orton became the youngest world heavyweight champion by beating Chris Benoit in the main event of SummerSlam 2004.
Oh, no. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. He defeated a person who did not exist.
Yes, the reason it was memorable was because obviously I'm a Randy Orton fan.
Mm-hmm.
But secondly, right, that was the start of the end of Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
the thumbs down thing, right, after he won?
Yeah, that happened like maybe like the week or 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
And you know where was Triple H at SummerSlam? You know who he was fighting?
Who?
Eugene.
Was this the whole angle where Eugene was Eric Bischoff's nephew, right? And his favorite wrestler was Triple H, and he kept getting in Triple H's way.
Because he was like a huge like baby face. But then when he was asking who's his favorite wrestler, Triple H, they were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was a huge blow off because Triple H was targeting not only him but his manager William Regal. William Regal was supposed to be taking care of Eugene.
Yeah.
And he got over during this point in time. Yeah, so Triple H like slid down the mid card to fight Eugene, and this was right after he won against Shawn Michaels at Hell in a Cell. So can you imagine how pissed off he would be? He really took a step down,
Yeah. Well, I think if anything, they were trying to elevate Eugene, but with a gimmick like that, I mean...
Yeah. It was memorable for me. I mean, obviously because it was my first time, and also because, I'm a Randy Orton fan. Another memorable SummerSlam, and I think a lot of people will agree if they remember this particular card, SummerSlam 2002.
Shawn Michaels, Triple H, unsanctioned.
Yeah.
This was when Shawn Michaels came back, and he had to be convinced to come back because he
supposedly retired, right? For 4 years already.
And he was like, I'm just gonna have one match, and that's why they fucking threw everything out there in this one.
Yeah.
He wrestled this one in jeans.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like a street fight. It was supposed to
I remember this.
be a one and done, but obviously Shawn Michaels being Shawn Michaels, he had the greatest match of all time.
Yeah lah, I mean, he had to steal the show, of course.
Of course. But there was also a lot of memorable moments from this particular SummerSlam.
Okay.
Remember the main event? It was the passing of the torch from The Rock to Brock Lesnar.
Oh right, yeah, you're right.
This was Brock winning his first ever title from The Rock.
Right, this was when Brock had already won the title at WrestleMania, right?
No, he won King of the Ring.
He ranked okay.
He haven't won. That happened the year after in 2003 when he was fighting Kurt Angle.
Okay, so this one was which belt? The undisputed or
the undisputed belt? Yes, from The Rock.
Okay, right. Yeah, this was like his big, crowning moment because previously he had been jobbing people out, but that's exactly it. He was just beating up the Hardys and stuff like that.
When he won King of the Ring from RVE in July, then after that he basically in a few months from when he debuted in May, right?
Yeah.
He straight away got pushed all the way to the main event at SummerSlam, and this was when the crowd turned on The Rock. The Rock was a baby face at that point in time, but I think he was leaving for Hollywood, right?
Yeah. So they actually got behind Brock Lesnar and they wanted him to win. And this was, you're right, the passing of the torch. Now I remember. Oh, yeah. God, when you said the context, right, all of a sudden these memories flood back. I'm like, holy shit, yeah, I remember the crowd.
Yeah, bro, I think like my job for the next couple is just to jog your memory. Like,
yeah.
Like Minority Report like that. Bro, remember this time?
There's just too much that we've watched,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just, bro, let's be honest, right? I think when your nostalgia years, in the years when you were growing up, those wrestling memories are so much more memorable.
Yeah.
For example, if you tell me what happened in the SummerSlam from 2 years ago, I really cannot remember.
Yeah. No, that's true. That's very true. Like, neither can I. Okay. For me anyway, the ones that I remember were, Rock versus Triple H, ladder match.
That was when?
1998. This was when they were still like, upper mid card. They haven't broken into the not upper echelon yet. Triple H was still establishing himself as a solo guy without DX, without HBK. The Rock was coming off of the Nation and Rocky Maivia and all that stuff, and they were feuding for the Intercontinental title. And everyone was like, how are they going to one up Razor and Shawn?
Yeah.
They basically went the opposite way. They didn't do like a high-flying match with the ladder. They just were very brutal. And I think this was the match where basically turned everybody's head and like made them like look at these two as, holy shit, these two are super legit.
This day could be the future of the business. Yeah.
And I mean, as we all know, they did become the future. One literally is the man behind the business now.
Yeah, the other one is the man behind the world.
Yeah, right. He could be the president soon. Another one for me is Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect.
Wow.
1991.
How old were you then, bro? Do you remember?
I don't even want to say. This also was another one where it was like the two of them was starting that climb towards the main event. Not quite there yet. Bret Hart was now establishing himself as a singles wrestler after, breaking off from the Hart Foundation with Neidhart.
Do you think the cool thing about SummerSlam in general is that it's a place to coronate new stars or like to build a star? Like obviously WrestleMania like solidifies a star into main event status.
Yeah.
But like I know, this guy is gonna be the next big thing because he had like a statement victory at SummerSlam.
Yes, it does feel like that. It's like the the lead up. It's like the playoffs before the finals.
I can give you an example of in a current era wrestler that made his mark in SummerSlam.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan won his first title from John Cena at SummerSlam 2013.
Right. Yeah.
Then he kena fucked over by Triple H and Randy Orton, and the Authority was born. But that led to WrestleMania 30, where the Yes Movement came to fruition. So, and a lot of people don't remember this because for some reason I think it's buried in people's memory. But Randy Orton also put over Roman Reigns in 2014. Okay,
obviously I missed that whole era, but
did you though? Because that 2014 was the match where John Cena and Brock Lesnar fought for the WWE World Heavyweight title, and Brock Lesnar completely squashed John Cena.
Okay, yeah. So I do remember that then.
Yeah. So that was 2014. So like that was like the main event. But the semi-main was Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, and this was Roman Reigns' first singles victory outside of coming out from the Shield.
Right.
And be like a big guy.
Right. And
the
this,
next year,
this is obviously before everyone turned on Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he was still well respected at that point in time. So yeah, it's very interesting. So I don't know, man. Like maybe you can look at this year's SummerSlam and see who might be a future champion.
Drew? This could solidify Drew's reign as the champion.
I feel that Drew definitely will be solidified this year, and that's why I feel that he might win. And also there's a couple of people that is coming up.
Well, go ahead.
Dominik Mysterio.
Oh my God. Well, we will talk about that in more detail in next week's episode when we review SummerSlam. Okay, let me bring up one more match. And it's funny you just brought up, you don't remember what happened 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But 2 years ago was when Ronda Rousey first won the Raw Women's Championship. She beat...
Oh, really?
Do you remember this? She
Alexa Bliss.
Squashed Alexa Bliss.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a clinic. It's not like an amazing match. But if you think about the road that led to that WrestleMania, like she had to win the title first, right?
Yeah.
And to build towards that epic sort of feud between her and Becky and Charlotte.
And so, we were just talking about how SummerSlam builds stars. Yeah. This was the first road in Ronda Rousey becoming, the women's champion as it is, right?
And a heel as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty... Oh, yeah. There you go. 2018, what else happened in 2018? I really can't remember, bro.
No, I only remember because got Alexa Bliss, so,
2019, bro. 2019 also a lot of shit happened. You know why?
Why?
Last year, it was the debut of The Fiend.
Oh, right. Yes. Versus Finn Balor, right?
Yeah, versus Finn. So there were a lot of memorable moments, even in this last decade in SummerSlam. This year, if you think about it, 2014 we had 2013 we had Daniel Bryan and John Cena, the main event. 2014 we had John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
Right.
2015, if you remembered, there was the unification match between John Cena and Seth Rollins. Because John Cena was doing his US Open Challenge during this period.
Right. Oh,
and
this was Seth had the 2 belts.
Yeah, so Seth 2 belts was this era because he was the world champion. And then, you know who helped him to screw up John Cena?
Who was it? It was Triple H?
No, it was Jon Stewart.
Oh, fuck. Yes, now I remember. Yes. I remember this.
Yeah, so bro, really, actually SummerSlam this last decade was actually pretty memorable. You know why? Like, every single SummerSlam, something really major happened. 2016, the first ever Universal Champion was crowned. Finn Balor, but he got injured.
Yeah, for one day.
Yeah, for one day. The only thing that I can't remember anything memorable happened was 2017. What happened in 2017? Yeah, you get to Google that shit.
Let's Google that shit.
Okay, I only know one thing that happened. It was the Fatal 4-Way match between Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Brock. But anything else memorable happened there?
Okay, let me just take a quick look at the card.
Can you enlighten me?
Brock Lesnar defeated Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe. Yeah. Oh, Jinder Mahal defeated Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship.
What the fuck? Oh yeah, so I guess it was the Jinder Mahal
era. AJ Styles beat Kevin Owens for the US title. Shane McMahon, special guest ref.
AJ Styles beat Kevin Owens. Wow.
Oh, interestingly enough, the Demon Finn Balor beat Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Yeah.
So that means Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt had a match together before.
Yeah, bro. Like actually, that's one of the dream matches we never got to see. Not the two wrestlers because they fought each other before, but the Demon versus the Fiend.
Because in 2017 it was the Demon versus normal Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
And then 2019 it was the normal Finn Balor versus the Fiend.
Yeah. So now we want to see the Demon versus the Fiend.
Okay, we wait the next year SummerSlam. Every 2 years on.
Oh, funnily enough, Big Cass beat Big Show.
Big Cass, huh?
Oh, this was Enzo in a shark cage. Remember?
Oh my god.
Oh, jeez.
I purposely left that from my memory.
So random.
So I guess SummerSlam was the summer of Jinder Mahal in 2017.
No wonder it was not memorable.
Was not a big match. No like Triple H match, no Seth Rollins match.
Oh no, Triple H retired already, right? Or like semi-retired already. Right?
Was there a Seth Rollins match?
Seth Rollins doesn't look like it. Randy Orton beat Rusev. Natalia beat Naomi. It was just the main event lah.
Why no Seth Rollins? Why no Dean Ambrose? Why no Roman Reigns?
Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins defeated Cesaro and Sheamus.
Oh, this was when Seth and Dean were a tag team.
Yeah, I don't see Roman Reigns anywhere on the show. Oh wait, no, he was in the main event lah, lama.
Yeah,
it was Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe. Anyway, I don't know why we're focusing on 2017, but this year's card looks pretty stacked, and like we talked about, like it's going to be interesting to see where these recent things that have popped up on Raw and SmackDown, where it'll go. Will Retribution have a say? Will Raw Underground show up? And all that kind of stuff. So
interesting. I mean, I feel that is the thing about SummerSlam that I feel is very fresh is that there's always like the kind of fresh matchups that is not really dream match level yet, but it's like the current era dream match level.
Well, like we talked about, the dream matches are on WrestleMania. The SummerSlam is building up to those, So okay, this isn't quite WrestleMania moment. Let's save this. We'll put it on SummerSlam. We'll put it on Survivor. Actually, okay. Recently, Survivor Series has not been like that. The magic is gone. It's like SummerSlam is number 2 to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. If you want to talk about Survivor Series, I feel like the last couple of years, some of them has been great. Some of them have been hit and miss. Like last year's, to me, the NXT's presence was pretty awesome.
Well, that was what made it unique.
Yeah, 2016 when there was the first brand split, when it was the first Raw vs SmackDown, was pretty dope as well.
I feel like for Survivor Series to work, there has to be brand versus brand,
warfare.
faction. But because that was the whole Survivor Series gimmick to begin with, 4 versus 4, 5 versus 5.
Yeah, they need the brand warfare. But when it comes to SummerSlam actually is built off of dream matches, but it has to be one-on-one, but it can be current star dream matches as well.
Correct, yeah. So that's why a lot of it goes under the radar when compared to WrestleMania, where the dream, quote-unquote, dream matches happen. And then, of course, Royal Rumble is the road to WrestleMania. So.
Yeah. A lot of great memories from SummerSlam, like even from your era, from my era, and this current era. Yeah. But quick takes for this coming SummerSlam. Which match are you most looking forward to right now? Like off the top of your head.
Of course, Drew versus Randy. Like we said, Randy's doing the best shit of his life. Drew is not quite there yet, but you can see there are these embers of the sparks of greatness,
Yeah. And the best thing is I can call it. I really can't call it.
No, but either way, exactly. You could see it go either way, right?
Yeah.
That match.
Even to me, to a certain extent, I'm really looking forward to Bray versus Fiend. Because
Bray versus Fiend.
Braun versus Fiend. Yeah. Finally, I feel like their rivalry is getting interesting.
Yeah.
Like it picked up at the third stage. Which what is expected, right? They gotta make the Fiend really, really strong. But the added element of Alexa Bliss just makes it interesting.
Bro, I'm even interested in Bayley versus. Talking
about
Sasha Banks versus
Asuka.
Now there's that whole wrinkle with Bayley. Are they going to retain? So they're firing on all cylinders, lah.
Yeah, there's one match that I can't believe we didn't talk about what happened on Raw, because it was like one very, very big thing that happened on Raw. Dominik Mysterio getting his ass whipped, getting his Singapore caned up.
Yes. And he really, he did it to sell the injury, but my God, those marks on him. Woo, way to go, Dominik Mysterio. So yes, Seth Rollins versus Dominik Mysterio. So anything goes.
There was a stat, right, that was floating around social media that said that he got caned 30 times. So in Singapore, what would get you caned 30 times? What kind of crime would you have committed to get you this kind of punishment?
I don't want to know, bro.
Bro.
You have to Google that shit. But that was a brutal attack. It looked amazing. What can I say?
Remember what I was curious about this whole time? I was saying, I wanted to know whether Dominik Mysterio got a nice physique or not.
Okay lah, not bad.
Decent lah. I mean, he's in shape.
Yeah.
He's not fully cut, but it's okay.
But what I actually appreciated was the fact that he had his own intro music. He had his own graphics, right?
Yeah.
But they look a bit cha-cha. He looks like a created character on a
Not there yet.
Yeah, you have to unlock, you have to play a bit more to unlock nicer graphics.
Yeah. Okay,
you know what I mean?
I'm very curious. I want to see whether he will incorporate some sort of mask in his ring attire. I really... But he's really a blank slate,
Yeah. This is a street fight, no rules deal. So I don't think he's going to have wrestling gear. And I'm fine with it. He needs to come in, and they even said it on commentary. he has little to no wrestling experience or training. So it's like, okay, they're playing up the fact that he's just this kid who wants to defend his father's honor, which is the way they should go. Yeah.
What if, right, he comes to the ring wearing Shane McMahon's attire? Baseball cap, long. I can imagine him like that, yeah.
And then doing the shuffle. No lah.
Money.
Yeah. I think he'll just wear what he's been wearing. And I'm
Like
fine.
t-shirt.
Perfectly fine with that.
T-shirt engines.
And then as it progresses, he can get a mentor, he can start getting gear. You have to, it's like playing freaking universe mode in WWE 2K without the bugs, of course.
The most interesting thing about that contract signing, which to me that feels like he just added such another layer to the whole story. Samoa Joe, bro.
Okay, you know what it was? To me, I feel like they don't trust, not say they don't trust. Dominik is still very green on the mic. So they were like, give it to Samoa Joe to talk for him. And he did. And Samoa Joe is freaking magic on the mic. We all know this. So they played off that whole thing where they had the show standoff last week, right? And then, if you remember, Seth and his goons, the AOP, were the ones who beat up Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Months back. So there is history there. It all makes sense. They tied it all together.
I want, right, Samoa Joe to moderate everything from now on.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
No tables were broken during this contract signing. No, it didn't devolve into some sort of like brawl.
Yeah.
So Samoa Joe needs to moderate everything. I think I want him to moderate between US and China. Then he will call them out. Or he will call both parties out on their shit.
Yeah. Okay. Like in all honesty though, like him, I don't know if he's stealing the limelight a bit, but when he talks, it's like you have to listen. So it's
almost like he's taking the attention away from the rivalry, right?
Right, yeah, a little bit. But I understand why they're doing it. I understand that maybe Dominik is not so polished on the mic yet. You put Samoa Joe in there to, get that reaction. So, and I think it worked out fine. But
bro, if you close your eyes, right, when Dominik talks, right, it's really like Rey Mysterio, though.
A bit.
Yeah, so it's not so bad, lah. It's not so bad.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Ray he's not up there in terms of like mic skills, lah.
But he has the cutest like raspy voice.
Yeah,
like every time, I don't know whether you remember like back in like SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 or 2007, then they had like voice over for Ray, like during career mode or something like that. His voice is always the funniest. It's like, hey Eddie, I don't know, man. I don't know how to voice it, but yeah, you know when you hear his Rey Mysterio's voice. Yeah.
So yeah, exciting times. We are looking forward to SummerSlam, and I know you are as well. So slide into our DMs and let us know. Hey, tell us about more of your SummerSlam memories as well.
It was great. Walking down memory lane, reliving some of it. It makes me want to watch some SummerSlams right now.
I just want to watch that Hogan versus
Shawn Michaels match.
Shawn Michaels match now.
Yeah. Okay, I want to watch SummerSlam 2000 because I just want to see the first ever TLC match. I'm pretty curious to see how that goes. Yeah, man. So like when this episode comes out, please like our YouTube videos and our channel and please subscribe. Please keep following us. And yeah, next week we're going to be having a great review or preview, of SummerSlam and everything that is going to be happening that weekend. It's like you said, bro, AEW Dynamite on the Saturday, which is pretty dope.
It's going to be a stacked weekend for wrestling. So let's do it, man. It's going to be fun.
Don't forget NXT TakeOver 30th. So, oh my God, so much shit happening, man.
Oh, yeah. Lots of stuff to preview. So join us again on Kick to the Gut, all right? As always, thank you so much for listening. Hey, tell your friends about the podcast. Help us, push the message out on social media. If you're a wrestling fan, check these two idiots out talking about wrestling.
If you love wrestling, this is your safe space.
Yeah, exactly.
No judgment here.
No judgment at all, because
Yeah, even if you like Young Bucks, I'm there for you. Maybe young, you're not there for them, but I'm there for you, man.
Hey, man, it's cool as long as they get their ass kicked. No, I'm kidding. It's Mr. Young,
and it's Foreign with a ring light in the building.
Oh gosh. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Stay safe.